I had been making these Fusion comp and adjustment clip mistakes for quite some time, and one adjustment clip mistake was actually secretly damaging the footage below it. So let's start with number 1. Many beginners think that an adjustment clip only affects the clip right below it. But is that the whole truth? I drop a B-roll graphic right above my footage. I want to add some glow to this graphic. So I drop our all-weather friend, the adjustment clip, right above this graphic, right-click it, and open it in Fusion. To add glow, I select Media In, press Shift plus Space, and add a soft glow node right after Media In. For a gentle glow, I will set the gain to around 0.3. Now, notice something feels off. The soft glow node isn't just affecting this graphic, it is also affecting the image below it. And if the effect you are applying is very subtle, you might not even notice that you have slightly destroyed your footage. It doesn't matter how many clips are stacked on the timeline, an adjustment clip affects every single clip all the way down to the bottom. I'll delete the soft glow node and instead add a color corrector node. In cases like these, the problems becomes obvious as daylight. So what should you do if you only want to make changes to a specific B-roll graphic? Just right-click that graphic itself and open it in Fusion. Same thing again. Add a soft glow node right after the graphic and give it some glow. Now the glow is only affecting the graphic and not the footage below. Next, and this one is big. If you are using adjustment clips to create text effects and titles, you are literally leaving so much on the table. I will go so far as saying this: text and title should never be saved on adjustment clips. Let me show you why. I will drop this typewriter text effect that I saved on an adjustment clip. Let's play it. It's a cute little text effect, except it has already damaged the image below it. You have probably noticed that the glow on the text is also affecting the image underneath. The styling I did on this text should stay inside the text and not creep down into the footage, but that's not always the case. Depending on your node tree, it absolutely can affect the image below, and that's not even the worst part. Now, I want to change the text, but the inspector has no controls, which means every single time I want to tweak something, I have to open this adjustment clip in Fusion, find the right node, and then make the change. This is not how text and titles are supposed to work. In fact, the edit page has a dedicated titles tab where your custom text effects should live if you save them the right way. And once you do that, you can control everything from a clean inspector that you design yourself. And there's so much you can do with macro titles. For example, you can build auto duration controls directly into your text effect. Let's say you want the out animation to start a bit later. Just drag the end of the clip to wherever you need it, and boom, every text effect should have this auto duration behavior. And needless to say, do not build motion graphics on adjustment clips either, if they need even a little bit of tweaking every time you use them. Next, you might be pushing your GPU more than you really need, especially with heavy Fusion comps. A very common mistake is people render the whole comp even when they only need to fix a small part. That's just wasted GPU power, and it slows you down as well. Let's say I only want to fine-tune the animation for this section right here. So first, I will set the render range. You can do that by dragging these two vertical orange lines, or just hold Command or Control and drag with your mouse to quickly select the range. Alright, now once that's set, go to your Media Out node or your main merge node, right-click, go to Cache to Disk, and hit Pre-render. Now what Fusion does is, it renders this node and everything before it, but only for the frames inside the range we just selected. Alright, there is still one mistake that can completely break your macros. Let me show you. I created this 4K like and subscribe animation, and I will quickly turn it into a macro. By the way, it is available for free download. Now I'll drop this macro onto a 1920 by 1080 timeline. Boom, the whole thing is out of shape. Text and shapes made inside Resolve scale beautifully across resolutions, but PNGs are not that smart. They don't automatically scale relative to the timeline resolution. So I use expressions to fix this, but that's an advanced method we won't cover right now. So what's the beginner-friendly fix? You can expose size and position controls for the PNGs in the macro, or you can copy the entire node tree from 4K project into a 1080p project and save the macro there as well. These are solid and practical workarounds. I have seen people get stuck for days just trying to save a Fusion effect, and the worst part is, it's hard to figure out what actually broke the macro. So here are a few common mistakes that quietly break your macros. First, transparency problems. Now, when you're building your effect, it's totally fine to have a background color. Like here, I'm using a default black background. It actually helps a lot when adjusting the glow for the text. But once you are done animating, go to your first background node and set the alpha to 0 right before you create your macro. This is what makes your effect transparent. Now here is where things can go wrong. If your background color was something other than black, just setting alpha to 0 is not enough. You still see this slight tint, and that tint will show up on your footage in the edit page. That happens because for true transparency, all 4 channels need to be 0. So just keep that in mind. Next, node selection order. This one is super important if you want your macros to look clean and professional. Before you even select anything, just pause for a second and ask yourself, which controls do I actually want in my macro inspector? In this case, I only need a few controls from the text node and the soft glow node. Now, if I just select nodes randomly and open the macro editor, all the nodes are listed in the same order I selected them. So if the soft glow gets selected before text, it shows up above it in the inspector. And honestly, that looks messy. So instead, hold Control or Command and select your main nodes in a clean, logical order. Then select the remaining nodes in any order. Just leave media out. Now, when we open the macro, text controls come first, then the soft glow controls. And everything looks clean and easy to use. Alright, one more thing, and this one secretly breaks a lot of macro. The output. You always want only one output checked. And that should be the node right before media out. Most of the time, Fusion handles this for you automatically. But sometimes, it can also expose outputs from other nodes in your comp, and that can break your macro. So just take a second, check your outputs, make sure only the final node's output is selected, and turn off anything extra. And that's it. If you found this helpful, give the video a like and subscribe.